All right, we're on page 191, still on lesson 7. We're still learning about the properties, commutative property and associative property. We also need to think about some new vocabulary here. We're going to simplify by combining like terms. So I have a feeling that some of the work we've already been doing is simplifying by combining. Let's see how it changes a little bit. So here's the first vocabulary word, like terms. We've heard about common denominators or like denominators. So these are terms with the same variables. So remember, that's a letter that takes place of a number that's raised to the same power. So we might see an a raised to the second power, and maybe there's another a raised, but the number terms are like terms, even though they do not have variables. So here's an example. In 6 plus 2x plus x raised to the second power, so this is kind of what it's talking about, plus 1 plus x, 6 and 1 are like terms. 6 and 1 are like terms. I guess because they're just numbers by themselves, a 6 and a 1. So if they're alike, and the 2x and the x are like terms, so that's involving the x. So the 2x and the x are like terms. They involve that x. You can simplify an expression, that is, make it shorter and simpler by combining like terms. So let's see what this means. Example 1 says simplify 2a plus 3 plus a plus 4. So we want to make that shorter and simpler by using a diagram. So here's a diagram, model the expression. So the way it looks here is we have 2 of a plus 3 plus a plus 4. Now remember, back on page 190, these were just those long base 10 rectangular tiles, and these were the little tiny units. So we don't like that all separate. Here's step 2. We're going to rearrange these so that the pieces are combined and the number of pieces are combined. So we're going to pull that a from here, which was the third term, and we're going to move it over to these. So now we'll have all 3 a's together and the 3 and the 4 together. So we just kind of rearrange this. And then we write an expression. So look, now we can just say 3 of a, 3 times a, or 3a, plus 7. So we made a simplified expression by combining terms. Here's another example. Let's simplify 2a plus 3 plus a plus 4. So it looks like it's the exact same expression by using properties. So this time we'll use the properties. 2a plus 3 plus a plus 4 is equivalent to 2a plus a plus 3 plus 4. We know that the properties tell us that it doesn't matter which order we add these in, we'll get the same result, but it's all addition, remember. So we're going to turn this into 2a plus a. We can put parentheses around that so that those are kept together, and add that to 3 plus 4. And that ends up being 3a plus 7. So 3a plus 7. So we saw what was in parentheses together. Use the commutative property to swap a and 3 and get like terms next to each other. Use the so we used the commutative property to swap a and 3 to flip those around to get like terms next to each other. And then for step 2, we use the associative property to group the terms. So this is the associative, they're associated with each other. Like this one's hanging out with this one, so they have the same reputation. Associative property. So we're going to put those in parentheses for the associative property, and then we combine them. So this just, I guess, explains what the numbered steps were. For number 4, it says use the diagram to help you combine like terms. So if you look here, I see the x is way up here and over here. So we could use the associative property, the commutative property, which lets us move things around. So we could slide these over here and the y's together. And then associative property lets you solve them together. So we have an x plus a y plus a 2 plus 2x's plus a y plus a 1. We're going to simplify this and just say how many x's are involved? 1, 2, 3. So let's say 3 of x. How many y's were involved? 2. Plus 2 of y, or 2y, plus how many single units? 3. So this is nicer to look at than all of these separate terms. So we're going to simplify the bottom. I'll go ahead and write the answers. You can pause it and check your work. You should have gotten 5 of x plus 5 here. 4d plus 3e plus 5 here. 5y plus 10 here. And 1 single x plus 3 y's plus 4. Kind of interesting, isn't it?